Hey there guys, Crystal here. Before I begin, this video is going to be a little bit different. Now, I've already covered a lot of this in my room tour plus recording setup video, but this is going to be much more in-depth. I receive comments almost weekly on what I use to record, or what specs my PC has, or even how I live stream on Twitch. So I thought I'd spend some time covering it all for those of you who may be interested in starting a channel of your own, or maybe you're just curious. Right off the bat, I'm going to mention that I've typed out all of this in the description of this video, covering basically everything I'll be mentioning if you'd like to see it for yourself. I'd also like to mention that none of this stuff is really necessary to do YouTube. Is it nice to have? Yes. Does it improve your quality? Most definitely. Can YouTube be done without investing so much? Absolutely. I should know I've done it. To begin, this is the center of my entire YouTube channel, basically. This is an Asus PC. I bought it about 2 years ago after my first year of college. It has been incredibly good to me, and other than having to upgrade the graphics card from a GeForce GT 620 to a GeForce GTX 760, it's exactly how I bought it. That is one improvement I'm very happy I made. A better graphics card really helped expand the games my PC is capable of running, as well as allowing me to render my videos more easily. All specs for it are on the screen. Moving on, I have two monitors on my desk. The larger is an Asus and the smaller is an Insignia. Basically, I just use the larger one to display my capture and editing software, and the smaller one is the screen I see the actual gameplay on. I'm not gonna lie, I'd love a matching Asus monitor of the same size, but first I'd need a much larger desk, and that is gonna cost a good amount when you also count in buying another monitor. I invested in an external hard drive specifically for my YouTube channel about a year ago, and I am so thankful that I did. Saving and editing massive HD video files takes up a lot of room, but this 1 TB portable hard drive serves me really well. Next up, we have my Blue Yeti USB microphone. Again, I bought this about a year ago, and I have been so incredibly happy with this purchase. When I first started on YouTube, my mic was literally the built-in mic on my laptop. This is pretty much the best quality of sound you can get from any USB mic on the market, and in my opinion, it is definitely worth it. Attached, I have a pop filter, which I purchased recently. It clamps onto the side of the mic and basically prevents lots of air from getting into the mic. These are pretty cheap if you look on places like Amazon. The mic itself comes with 4 different recording settings depending on how you want to use the mic. Moving on, we have pretty much the next most important thing next to my PC, which is my capture card. This is the Elgato Game Capture HD. It cost me quite a lot, although not as much as my 3DS capture card cost me, if you would believe it. This simple looking little box can record any console on the market right now, and pretty much any that came before it. Anything from the NES to the Wii U, the PlayStation to the PlayStation 4, and the Xbox to the Xbox One. Good job at counting, Microsoft. It has 2 sides that contain 4 ports total. The first side has an AV in and an HDMI in. The other side has an HDMI out and a USB slot which powers the capture card. Say that I want to record a retro game, for example on the PS1. The original PlayStation has AV inputs, so we simply plug them into this cable here and then into the Elgato. This takes the video and audio signal from the PS1 and puts it through into the Elgato. Now on the other side, I plug in the HDMI cable into the HDMI out port and connect it to whatever screen I want to play on, and finally connect the USB cable to my PC in order to power it. On the flip side, say I want to record from a new console like the Wii U. It's as simple as plugging in the HDMI cable from the Wii U into the HDMI slot in my Elgato. It's very simple to set up, came with all the cables right out of the box. It does get rather warm when it's in use for a while, but no more so than a standard laptop charging brick would. Another thing to note, as you can see here, there is a few seconds of delay between the actual game and the recording. Next, we'll move on to my cameras. I have several, and beyond what I use to record my gameplay with, this is probably my most asked question. I have 4 different cameras that I use to record different things. The one you guys see most often in my vlogs is literally just my Samsung S4 built-in camera. Nothing fancy, but it does just fine for the vlogs. The next one is my webcam that I use for my Twitch streams and for a few of my older YouTube videos. It's only a 720p, so it's not the best, but it suits me just fine. It's made by a company called Creative, and it is the Live Cam Chat. As I said, it works well for me and my streams, so unless it dies randomly, I won't be replacing it for a while. After that, I have my Canon Rebel T3. It's a much older model and I haven't purchased any additional lenses for it, but it's still a nice camera. It was gifted to me for my 18th birthday, so it isn't new anymore, but obviously it still looks great as the majority of this video was being filmed with it. Now, the one I probably use the most for my YouTube channel is my Canon Powershot. This little camera is great for its size and price, and definitely my favorite out of all four. If you've watched my How to Film Your 3DS video, you already know this is the camera I use to record all of my 3DS content with, at least until I get my 3DS capture card. The Elgato came with a piece of software called Game Capture HD. This is how I record gameplay onto my PC. You can control volume and even include a face cam in your recordings if you would like, although I prefer to do that in post-production if I do. If I wanted, I could even stream straight to Twitch from here, although again, I use another program to do that, which I'll talk about later. The next program I use almost exclusively in conjunction with Game Capture HD. Audacity is an amazing free audio recording and editing software that I've been using for years. Links down below if you'd like to download it for yourself, by the way. I'll be covering this program specifically in a future video, but basically it's very simple to learn. Just ensure that you're taking inputs from your mic, hit record, and you're good to go. This is pretty much what a typical recording session looks like for me. Both Game Capture HD and Audacity are running on the larger monitor so that I can keep an eye on them, and the game I'm actually playing is on the smaller monitor. Once I'm done recording, I take the audio from my Audacity and the footage from my Elgato and throw them into my video editor. I personally use Powerdirector 13, which is now free by the way, links down below. It's a nice program, it does everything I need it to do, and I've gotten very used to it. This program can be a little heavy and sluggish, especially if you're working with HD video files or long pieces of footage, so having a relatively strong PC is really recommended for this. Moving on, I use both OBS Classic and OBS Studio for my PC recordings or Twitch live streams. Basically, I started with OBS Classic, which is very stable, and I picked it up quite quickly. It didn't do absolutely everything I needed it to do, so I also have OBS Studio. OBS Studio is definitely more expansive, professional looking, and has more options, but I found it less reliable and prone to crashing. Pretty much anytime I stream, I'm using OBS Studio. It's a little bit weird to learn at first, but once you get the hang of it, it is awesome. If I'm just trying to record simple gameplay for a video, especially of a PC or an emulated game, I just use OBS Classic. Both of these programs are free, so once again, links below in the description. And that's pretty much my current setup in terms of both hardware and software for YouTube and streaming. My channel started with me using a shitty little Acer laptop with its built-in mic and Windows Movie Maker, so I know what it's like. The majority of this stuff I saved up for and then splurged on when I really wanted to start up my channel. As I said at the beginning of this video, you can start on YouTube without all of the expensive equipment. It's not 100% necessary and you really shouldn't waste a lot of money on it unless you're dead set on seeing this through. That being said, I know a lot of you are interested in starting your own channels, so I hope this video gave you just a little bit of insight into the stuff that can really help your channel along. This list will probably change in the months and years to come, especially with my 3DS capture card coming in soon. So maybe in the future I will do an update to this of sorts. If you have any questions, would like advice, or even need a second opinion, for sure let me know down below in the comments. I promise to try and get back to you as soon as possible. Before I go, I would just like to thank each and every one of you for 5K subscribers. Here's to our continued growth as a community. If you enjoyed this video, then why not like, comment, or maybe even subscribe. This has been Simply Press Start, where gaming is as simple as pressing start.